Joining us now is Congressman Adam Smith of Washington. He's a top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee. In terms of the rationale behind the statement, I'll get to that in a minute, but I want to start with, based on what you know right now, is this some kind of imminent threat, or can people not be as alarmed as they were when they initially saw the statement yesterday?
Well, it's difficult, and I'm actually going to be in that meeting that Jake Sullivan was talking about later on today and get more information. We have been briefed on this before. We have been made aware of it. But look, I mean, despite what Congressman Turner did, this information is still classified, so I can't really talk about it publicly. And frankly, I am mystified why Chairman Turner decided to essentially go public with this. I know he didn't specifically release it, but by sending out that statement and then opening up the intelligence to every single member of Congress, he had to know that within hours it would be public information, and that's essentially what happened. So I think it's a very questionable decision by the chairman to release this information. It's a threat that, like I said, we've been aware of. National Security Council and others are dealing with it, but it's not something that should have been leaked publicly in this manner, in my view.
Do you have any sense as to the why? And the reason I ask is because Congressman Turner is respected on Capitol Hill, is respected inside the intelligence community. He works across the aisle, partisan when he needs to be and wants to be, but certainly Democrats can say nice things about him, which is a rarity to some degree to this day and age. Right. There are two big legislative debates ongoing, particularly within the House Republican Conference, and that's aid for Ukraine and also the Section 702 reauthorization. Do you think either of those are the reason why?
Look, and I concur with the remarks you made earlier. I've served with Congressman Turner for over 20 years. He's a senior member of the Armed Services Committee, where I've been the chair and the ranking member. We work closely together. We have sparred from time to time, but always respectfully. And I was trying to find him yesterday to have this conversation, but he was a little preoccupied. I don't know why he did this. I don't. It is inexplicable to me, but I'm sure he has a reason. Again, I just think it was the wrong choice. This is stuff that should not be made public. And the reason for that is, we're trying to protect sources and methods. We're trying to make sure that adversaries don't know what we know unless we think it's to our advantage. And then also we're trying to make sure that we preserve the people who are giving that information and how we're getting it. And this places that at risk. Now, there are circumstances when we want the other side to know what we know. But that is a decision that is made at the highest levels of the executive branch. It's not a decision that one individual member of Congress wakes up one day and decides he's going to do on his own. So this is a highly, highly risky move that I don't have an explanation for it at this time.
Based on what you do know and the briefings that you've had, and I'm not talking about specific intelligence here, but also given your role on the committee, do you believe the U.S. is prepared to address any capability that may be forthcoming from the Russians in this kind of battle space or potential battle space?
Look, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we live in an uncertain world. To say that we are 100% prepared for anything that possibly could come at us is naive and wrong, okay? It's unpredictable, it's uncertain, it's dangerous. I can say this, we are aware of it. We have defenses, we have our own capabilities, and we have means and methods to protect ourselves. There are no guarantees here, but we've been aware of it, and we are working the issue, let's put it that way.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you, because you said after the president's press conference last week that, and I'm paraphrasing here, basically there's a better way to handle that, or a better way to do it. In the wake of the special counsel report, the White House has been very aggressive, and their allies have been very aggressive in pushing that back on that against Robert Hur, the special counsel, in the days since then. What's your kind of judgment of the response so far from their operation?
Well, I think that's been good. I think they should push back. Heck, I pushed back hard on it. I mean, in that interview, I also said that this was, a politically motivated hatchet job by the special prosecutor. He didn't have to make his own independent judgment about what he thought the president's mental faculties were. It was clearly wrong, and I think they should push back hard on it. What I also do think, though, is that having the president come out there immediately, angry and defensive, wasn't a good look. Now, it's understandable. I mean, they called into question his memory about his own son's death. And the president took that really personally. And he was angry. And he went out there to express that. But on this level, you shouldn't do that. And it's going to happen. I think since then, they've been really smart about the way they've pushed back on it, drawing the contrasts, obviously, with the likely Republican nominee, Donald Trump, and really driving home a hard message. And also focusing on the issues. I mean, talking about the fact that we have the ability to pass a border agreement, we have the ability to get a national security package to help protect Ukraine that the Republicans are killing. Okay, those are the issues. Talk about the issues. Talk about what matters to the American people and deliver that message. And I think since that initial press conference, they've done a very good job of that. And I think that matters a lot.
And an important point, that national security funding package is in the House's hands right now, and they have a majority for it. They just got to put it on the floor.
Just give us a vote.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you say, we won't vote for Ukraine unless you include the border. Now we won't vote for Ukraine if you include the border. So the Republican position on this is dangerous for the country.
It is admittedly confounding. Congressman Adam Smith, appreciate your time as always, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.